Hello, my beautiful friends. We are back and we have survived eclipse season. And it is now Virgo season. Shout out to the Mechanism, who is one of my favorite astrologers. She writes for a lot of outlets like Bustle, and she has all her own services. She made this t-shirt. Anyways, I just wanted to touch base with you guys really quick and remind you that aside from these lovely free readings that I offer here, I have a ton of different stuff on my website that can continue to support you. If a personal reading isn't quite right for you, though, obviously I have those. I just streamline those services, make them a little bit more simple. You can find all that in the description box. I also have, of course, Siren Gang, which is kind of like being a part of a Patreon. You support me every month, and in return, I give you mid-month readings that include spiritual path, career, and love. And the way that I do the love readings, which are also available for individual purchase, is middle of the month of whatever current month it is, like let's say August, to the middle of September. So the only way that I offer love readings is either if you join Siren Gang for $10 a month, where you get all 12 signs, plus some energy updates written in a Vogue, plus $5 off anytime you book a service with me. Or you can buy middle of the month readings, again, cover love for a full month, and the 15th to the 31st or whatever on career and spiritual stuff on that month. And those are sold individually on my website for $777. And if you're called to donate to my channel, the link is below. I really appreciate that. This is my main gig, you know what I mean? I am in service for a living, and I love what I do, and any support that you feel you want to show monetarily, I would be open to that. It is my birthday on the 27th, so I'm turning 28. Show your girl a little love. Also, like I said, everything is updated in my shop. I did upload some crystals. All the sets except for one are sold out, and I think I have 2 individual stones still for sale. If you guys want to see more stuff like that from me, where I handpick stones and I charge them, you know, at a big lunar event, and I sell them to you, you know, comment below or send me an email. I also have the Siren, well, it used to be called Siren Support. Now it's just called Email Support. That's available in my shop. That's when you get access to me all month via email to talk about whatever spiritual issues you're going through. It's a little bit different than a reading, but it's more hands-on and supportive and direct to your issue. That's only $26. That's way cheaper than a reading. Also, I have custom ritual kits that can either be given to you singularly or in conjunction with a reading. That's in the shop as well. All the info that you need is in the description box below. And as always, I love y'all. You give me so much life. I love reading your comments. And I appreciate anyone that likes, shares, and subscribes to my videos. It really, really helps me out, okay? And now we're into your reading. Mwah. All right, Gemini. So with the 5 of Cups and the 6 of Cups, for those of you that have children, you may be disappointed by your children or for your children, depending on what it is. Some of you, your child could be you becoming a grandparent for the first time, and you're like disappointed in how it happened, you know, for whatever the reason may be, or you're just, it's just like maybe with your child, there's been a lot of like ups and downs, either in their life, and it's affecting you, right? Like you're like, oh, I don't want to see this for my child. I don't want my child to go through this. Like, for others of you, I think that you're a little upset over something that you didn't receive as a kid. Okay. Like whether it's because you see, you know, your friends got a different type of upbringing, or you're giving, again, your child something that you never received, and it's kind of like making you like, a little, you know, a little blase blah over the fact that you never got that kind of love, or you never got that kind of treatment or whatever. Because the 6 of Cups is always nostalgic, right? So we always kind of get stuck in what was, not what is. And the 5 of Cups can fuel that fire a little bit too much. So if this is about a home, these 4 Cups are feeling like a security home thing to me. If this is about a home, don't worry about what's not working out, or, you know, what hasn't panned out, and focus on,
you know, new horizons. I feel that could be meaning a new location, a new idea, a new whatever. Because the Ace of Pentacles with the Ten of Swords is saying that there's some, like, I don't feel like this is a deaded situation. Like, I don't feel like this ace is getting killed off, if you will, by the Ten of Swords. I feel like the second you give up, right, and really surrender is when an opportunity will present itself. And it's going to be one that you were really fighting for. Okay, right? It's either going to help you move, help your child move, help you move on from your childhood wound and the sadness that requires of it. Maybe you're moving back closer to your childhood home, or you're sad that you ever left. Because there's something here about the second you release how opportunity presents itself for you, you're gonna get the one that you've been pushing for. Because I also have this feeling that, like, the more you push away the opportunity. Okay, and it's because there's some attachment to struggle here. There's some attachment to thinking that things have to be hard earned. And not just come to you in a graceful manner. Okay? Okay, Gemini. Overall this month, we have the Three of Cups. And I feel like regardless of how you're feeling, there's a lot to celebrate. And there's a lot to share with the people that you love, the people that are close to you. And especially if in some way you're struggling this month, I feel it's important to share it with those close to you. Because even if you think like, oh, if I say this, or, you know, what I'm going through, nobody else can change it, it doesn't matter, because sometimes people that love you feel really helpless when you won't even let them know what you're going through. Because you can say like, hey, I know you probably don't have a solution, but I just need to get this off my chest. You know what I'm saying? So really, I also feel like I want to say, like, count your lucky stars that you have so many people in your corner, even if they're not people that you've known forever or that are, you know, right in your neighborhood or are in your immediate surrounding. Like, count your lucky stars for all of the people that you have that are in your corner that are here to celebrate you. And remember that the more you celebrate yourself, and the more that you're proud of your accomplishments and proud of how far that you've come in whatever endeavors this is about, you know, the more that you'll reap that. Because we have something interesting going on here. I feel that this isn't really about work, and this isn't really about love per se. I feel like this is just about your spiritual path overall, and the way that you process things and interact with other people. Okay? What you're being asked to release is the Ten of Cups. And on the Ten of Cups, we have the rune Constraint and the Four of Wands with the rune Marriage. So, a couple things here. I feel that to an extent, you've been putting a limit on how happy you can be because of how you feel it should look. Okay? Ten of Cups with Constraint, I feel like is saying that, like, you're downplaying that you don't have this Ten of Cups. And I know the Ten of Cups often is associated with, like, having a family or being married or having kids or whatever, like a very full, more like, quote, American dream or traditional values type of picture. But everyone's Ten of Cups is different. Everyone's Ten of Cups is personal to what makes them feel full. And I feel like in some regard, as much as you have so much to celebrate, there's something here about you feel like your ability to have emotional fulfillment is somehow stifled. Okay, and that's why I feel like gratitude is a huge, huge practice for you this month. The Four of Wands with commitment could be that, like, you feel like you won't completely be happy till you get married or till you have a partner to share everything with. And sometimes we go through big milestones in our life and we're like, I wish I had a partner to big me up, or I wish I had, a husband that, or a wife that, you know, was here to support me or whatever. And we go through those waves. But the Four of Wands also reminds us that, right, we can celebrate ourselves at any moment, and we have to be happy that we have found people around us, right, like a spiritual tribe that are committed to the same work that we are. So if this is about feeling limited in being able to feel, again, emotionally fulfilled while simultaneously having a lot of people with similar values in your corner, I feel like it's saying, like, don't discount how amazing that is, because not a lot of people have that. People search their whole life for that. So I feel like you have a lot more to be grateful for than you realize. And that happens, you know what I mean? Everything's a shift in perspective. And that's what Spirit is advising over here. And this also may be that I feel like there's a message here too, that there's a restriction on how love is flowing through your life as well. I feel like, okay, I feel like literally like on some like anatomy stuff, that a valve on your heart is pinched, right? So obviously I don't feel like that on a medical level. However, if you've been having heart pain or something like that, you know, not on some like chakra upload things, like legit, like I would, you know, talk to a doctor. But I feel like a valve is pinched, right? So that means that things are, you know, blood is flowing through it, love is flowing through it, but it's very limited. And it causes pain when it passes through because a large amount is flowing, right? The pressure that is flowing behind that amount of love is a lot stronger than the opening, right? There's a blockage, but it's not a full-blown blockage, right? So there's debris in the way of reciprocity. There's debris in the way of getting your needs met. And there may be some, and don't get me wrong, there's certain things that a partner can bring us, you know, that other people just can't, right? It's a different type of companionship on an emotional level and a spiritual level than friends. But again, I just feel a deep need to count your blessings versus counting what's missing, because that's what's dragging you down right now. That's what's having you feel down. And there's something here about standards as well, which I'm going to get to, and something about requirements. Because standards are important, boundaries are important, but there's something here about you have this really high bar, and there's nothing wrong with setting a high bar, but when you set a really high bar, you also have to not take it so personally when people can't meet that bar, okay? And not let that stop the flow, okay? So maybe now's not the time to be focused on having a perfect home life or having, you know, a family life or being married, but instead focus on all the other things that you have going for you, because I feel like you have a really, really, really strong social circle. I feel like you have people, like a sisterhood around you, and that is extremely valuable, okay? The door that's now open that was once closed, we have the Tower and the Devil. On the Devil, we have future. There's something here about being surprised about, there's something about the vision that you have for yourself, whether it be a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever, that still is based in some sort of fear. So there's still this energy of you playing small in some capacity or wanting less for you than God wants for you. And my lovely friend Tasha B, she says a prayer that I have now adopted as well, where she says, I only want what God wants for me. So this is going to require a lot of things getting removed. This is going to require us to face a lot of codependency, right? But ultimately, it reminds us that we're getting what we deserve beyond what we even understand we deserve. Because sometimes, you know, as a human, we always have less understanding than a higher power. We have less understanding than our higher self, which is the larger portion of ourself that we leave in the non-physical. We have less understanding than they do. So we're constantly being humbled by Spirit on the ways that we're still attached to specific outcomes and specific desires that are based in ego, fear, needs of security. I feel like this is a root chakra issue here. It's like, well, I need this to have this. I need this to feel this. I need this in order to eradicate this. And the Tower is saying, no, you don't. Right? No, you don't. A lot of times, too, we have to do the work before the gift shows up, if you will, the miracle shows up, because otherwise we're not going to be prepared. Okay? If we had everything that we needed, or not even needed, but wanted, right when we asked for it, we probably wouldn't be ready for it. The want is what sparks the desire and the commitment to do the work. Okay, so does that mean that we'll never tip into loneliness again, or that it means that we're off course if we tip into loneliness or sadness or whatever? No, it doesn't. It just reminds us that we are still feeling really separate from something we feel we deserve. And there's also a reminder too that we're perfect right as we are, and our life is perfect right as we are. So don't ever forget to celebrate yourself. You know what I mean? Don't ever forget to count your blessings. Don't ever forget to be grateful for all that you have become. Because I feel like this is a little bit of fear of the unknown. And the more that you project into the future, the more that I think Spirit's just kind of going to rock you, because we do not know. We think we know, but we don't. And we can say, yeah, I want this or I want that. But we still have to keep ourselves very, very, very open to how Spirit decides to move through our life to grant our wishes. And that's why I don't really align so much with manifesting specific things and more so manifesting feelings, right? Because if you can't feel into something, you can't manifest it anyways. So instead of saying like, I want a partner who has this kind of job and this kind of money and blah, 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 I would say, I want to feel financially supported in all the relationships that I have. I want to feel unconditional love and connection, right? With people who meet me at the same place that I meet myself, right? It's a little bit different. It's similar, but it's a little bit different. So when you want to manifest specific things too, like, oh, I want this job, right? What attributes does that job have, right? It has a 401k. It has, this, that, and the third. And you could say, okay, I want a position that requires more education. I want to go back to school. I want to feel educated and superior, whatever the case may be. Okay? Your current energy as it relates to all of this in September. In your head, we have the Knight of Wands with the Ace of Cups. In your heart, the Eight of Swords with the Six of Pentacles. And in your foundation, the Page of Swords with the Rune Protection. So a little bit of still, again, like I said, I feel like you're working in protective mode by not saying everything. Okay? I don't feel like you're saying the whole story, saying everything. Not that we need to give power to our fears, but if our fears just run under the surface, when they never get air, they just kind of run a program that eventually is going to break the surface in a more dramatic way. So don't also try to protect your friends from your problems. Like, you just need to be an open and fluid person. And I know that's not easy. We all have our different hangups with that, but you won't be judged for it and you will feel better. You think you won't, but we don't know how we're going to feel about things until we really try it as well. This also to me is saying that I feel like you're limiting your voice. Again, I feel like this is a little bit of a playing small, playing into a younger part of yourself. This Knight of Wands, though, with the Eight of Cups in your headspace, I feel like something is going to occur, right, this month where a light bulb is going to go off and you realize that you need to offer yourself a lot more forgiveness than you have so far. Okay? Either someone's going to say something to you, or you're going to experience something or see something. I feel like you might see it play out in front of you, like you're out on the town or whatever, out in the, outside your house, not at work, like out in public. And you're going to watch somebody make a gesture of love to somebody else. And it's not going to be like traditionally romantic, but it's going to happen really fast. And you're going to be like, wow, like, that was really nice. And realize that there's there's just more to the story, I feel like the message is. This is also saying that we have to keep our mind open to our wishes getting granted really quickly and not coming in the packaging that we necessarily expect. So we have to open that valve, Eight of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. Are you really ready and willing to share yourself with somebody? Honestly, right? Because this is saying you feel restricted in having relationships that are reciprocal, but are you fully being vulnerable with your friends? If you're not fully being vulnerable with your friends, I'm talking about your close friends, then are you going to get a partner that is going to be completely honest, that is going to be completely forward, that is going to be ready to be vulnerable? Okay, we have to ask ourselves those things. I feel like when that light bulb goes off, that's when you're going to realize that you have been playing yourself into a corner, backing yourself into a corner emotionally a little bit, and not giving yourself a lot of room to express yourself because you feel like you still need to protect your voice, protect yourself, protect your space. Okay? And that's probably an old defense mechanism. But the compassion that you yearn for and the connection that you yearn for requires fluidity. Okay? It requires fluidity. And I feel like it's very, very important to not repress anything you feel, whether you need to write it out to get it out of your body, if you don't feel comfortable telling somebody, okay? But when we ask for things, Spirit also asks us to embody those things. So I feel like you're really getting pushed to embody emotional, fluid reciprocity in a way that you have not before in order to create and really establish with yourself what it feels like to share completely with somebody and knowing where to draw the boundary, right? Because it's not like we have to tell somebody everything and let them completely saturate us, right? That's unhealthy, but I feel like there's still more work to be done on that level. And that I think is what is restricting and making you feel like you're not all of it is there, okay? Spirit's advice for you is the Two of Wands with the Death card. And on the Two of Wands, we have the rune Disruption. So again, this is speaking again into the whole idea that you have this very specific view of how your future is going to go or what your relationships are going to be like or what the next chapter of your life is going to be like. And Spirit is saying there's more to surrender to. Okay? Death card, Ten of Swords, there's more to surrender to. Okay? Because your vision is being disrupted by this new breakthrough. This can also be like a death of yourself. This can even be, this definitely isn't for everybody, but sometimes the death of somebody close to you really alters your view on life. And I found that if you were really close to a person that passes away, like especially if it's a grandparent or, someone that we have a very, very strong ancestral type connection to, they kind of put their energy into us and we kind of absorb some of their magic. And I feel like if that's the case, if you lost somebody recently, allow that death to transform you and alter your view on life. There's something about the way that person that passed away, there's something about them that you loved their outlook on life. And they had way more to be upset about, way more to be depressed about than you do. And you're like, damn, like I need to adopt so-and-so's view on life. Like that has to stay with me because they, how did they live? Like think about how that person lived. This could be a person that passed away a long time ago, but think about how that person lived and how that can change your whole perspective on the life that you're living. Okay? Because there's a necessary change that needs to happen in your particular vision before things are going to change, before things are going to actually have some movement, all right? The most likely outcome moving into October, we have the Ten of Swords with the rune Luck and the Six of Swords. So it may feel like, I feel like your lack of luck is coming to an end. And you're also I feel like you're really having to surrender over this message and this conversation that you have with yourself that you're unlucky in relationships or you're unlucky with situations of sharing yourself and things like that. Because the Six of Swords is saying you need to move on from that. Move on from this debilitating conversation that you keep having with yourself about, where your shortcomings and your what you don't have and whatnot come before all that you have to count on. And that just happens. Sometimes we get in that mode. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get in that mode. But I know you're tired. I know you're tired of feeling like life is hard. I know you're tired of feeling like you're constantly working. So say to Spirit, I only want what's easy. I only want what comes to me naturally. And you will have that. You will have that. Because relationships is not supposed to be work. Love is not supposed to be work. That's not to say that there's not things that we have to deal with internally that is work, like not project and not get scared and not run away. But that's not labor, like emotional labor. That's like necessary evolution type stuff. So it's time to kind of move away from this hectic mentality because it's draining you, okay? And you deserve more blessings than that. Spirit, what affirmation do you have for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising as it relates to, there we go. Beautiful. I move through life knowing that I am safe, divinely guided, and protected. My consciousness is filled with healthy, positive, loving thoughts that reflect themselves in my experience. Look at that guardian angel following the woman walking her dog. So if you have a pet, I feel like it's, that there's something about communing with spirit when you walk your pet or getting out in nature. And there's just an immense amount of guidance available to you that is not seen. Okay? And our pets are really magical as well. Like if you have a pet, I would like talk to it like it's a human, and ask it for signs and stuff, because you may be surprised. Like maybe when you're out walking your dog or something, like before you go outside for a walk or whatever, say to your dog, if you have on like, I really want to meet someone that has like a like-minded, something in mind, whatever. And if your dog like goes up to somebody, like spark a conversation with that person. Maybe take that person's number down. Okay? I feel like there's something there as well. All right? Love you, Gemini. Peace.